Hello, 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 hello. Wow, missed you guys so much. Thank you for coming to the Ten Things channel. Today I have another set of 10 things that I want to talk about with you, and the Lord is gonna bless you even as you listen. Let me tell you something. Usually people don't take notice of it, but the very first sin in this world is the sin of pride. Bible says that the devil said to himself that I will be like the Most High. See, that was the very first act of sin that ever happened in this world. And since then, it has been the beginning of every kind of sin that has happened. So, pride is a weapon of mass spiritual distraction. There can be no righteous person that is proud. There can be no pride that produces goodness. Pride is what destroys marriages. Pride is what leads to infidelity. Pride is what leads to people duping people. Pride is what leads to deceit. Indeed, the Bible says that there can never be a fall, or before every fall, there's a pride. So, today's message about pride, don't just push it aside and say that, no, this is not about me. I mean, he's talking about proud people, no. But that very attitude, that dismissive attitude itself, and because you think you're better than others, is the first foremost sign of pride, actually. So it's like the devil thinking that what is man that thou art mindful of him, the son of man that thou thinks about him. The devil thinking that he's far better than everyone else, far better than all the created things, to the point where he was even thinking of becoming like his own creator. So that essence is what brings pride. So today we are discussing 10 signs, 10 symptoms. If I were a medical doctor, I would say 10 symptoms. 10 symptoms of pride, or 10 signs that you are becoming proud. So you can nip it in the bud immediately. The first thing, and that's one of the first very foremost signs. The first sign is that it's a sign that you're becoming proud. It's when you think you are better than your peers. You know, it's like the man who went there to pray in the chapel. His father, I pay all my tithes. I follow the law. I'm not like this other tax collector. I'm not a sinner like him. Somebody he has never met. By reason of his career, he assumed he was better than him. Jeremiah chapter 48, verse 29, and then Second Timothy chapter 3, verse 2. If you are in the habit of thinking you are better than others, you are becoming proud, or you are proud. It's one of the first signs of pride. Bible says in humility we should consider others better than ourselves. So humility is the opposite. When you consider others as better than yourself, it's not self pity, it's not inferiority complex. It's saying that have the right, but let this other person have it. That's what I mean. But pride says that I must have the right all the time because I'm better than all of these people all the time. That is a sign of pride. And if you have that in you, you are caught in trouble. Now, the very second sign that you're becoming proud is when you presume the worst in everyone you meet. When you presume the worst, that's what we call, let's say, racial profiling, or we call racism. Racism is a sign of pride. In fact, racism is a major sign of pride. To think that because I have a certain color, I'm better than someone. You don't know the person's schooling, where the person has been, but by mere fact that he is of a certain color, she is of a certain color, I'm better than the person. It's just like thinking that because you come from a certain part of the world, you are better than all other people who come from, let's say, Africa, for example. That's pride. That's a national pride. In fact, we have even made it something that is good because of the national pride. It's not like national pride. Pride is pride and it's bad and it should be stopped. And the scripture for that one is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 31. There is nothing like national pride. It's bad. Every form of pride does not produce anything righteous. So don't presume the worst in people. Oh, he's from this place, then he must be bad. It's like what Nathaniel was doing. Once he heard Jesus was from Nazareth, he began to look down upon him, even before he had even seen him. That's why immediately Jesus met him. He was the first disciple that immediately Jesus met. He met him with a miracle and started telling him what he was doing even before he even came under the fig tree. And then, lo and behold, he was then brought out of his prejudice and started saying, "My Lord, my God." He said, "You are telling me that because I told you I saw you under the fig tree. You see greater things than this." So Nathaniel was pride, a true Israelite. He felt that, well, people from Nazareth, nothing good can come out of Nazareth. You know, if you have that attitude where you keep saying that a certain place, a certain, you know, place, there's nothing good can come out of it, then you are caught in pride. It's not a good sign. You are becoming proud. That's why you think everybody from a place is are not good or are worse because they come from a particular place or they are of a particular origin. And Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 31 talks about this thing. Please never presume the worst for people. It's only proud people who do that. Now, number three, the third sign that you're becoming proud is when you lose respect for your elders. First Peter chapter 5, verse 5. Please, when you lose, especially your parents, the day you lose respect for your parents, that's the day you have graduated into pride. The day you lose respect for people that are ahead of you in life, that's the day you become proud. The day you lose respect for your teachers, the day you lose respect for your mentors, then you have become proud. Please, there's a vast difference between confidence and pride. Pride is when you lose respect. Confidence never encourages anyone to lose respect for anyone. So once you lose respect for people, it's not because you've known better, it's because you've become proud. So that's the third sign that you're becoming proud. Now, the fourth sign that you're becoming proud is when you seek to control everyone around you. Bible says that is this controlling stings, smack of spirit of witchcraft, where you want to control everybody around you. You are doubling, you are hovering around witchcraft. You know, and Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5 says it. Don't seek to control people, persuade them, convince them, you know, inspire them, but don't control them because once you get on that path, you are trying to muzzle people out of their will. And only the devil does that, actually. Even the sovereign Lord that made all of us has given us a will. How much more you and I, who are subjects. So don't seek to control everybody around you. It's a sign of pride. It's a great sign of pride. If you're a wife, don't seek to micromanage everybody. You want to manage, and even the very words your husband speaks, you want to edit it and reconstruct it. And you, a man, everything your wife does, you want to. No, it's pride. It's not carefulness. It's pride. So that was the fourth sign. The fifth sign is when all your imagination is about how you can have the preeminence. Luke chapter 1, verse 51. There are people, everything they think about is that is when they are the first, when they are the ones recognized, when they are the ones leading. Every time they believe they should be leading, they should be the first, they should be the ones recognized. Every time. People with that tendency easily end up practicing sorcery, practicing witchcraft, because they need to, they are addicted to prominence and always want to be the one healed, the one leading, the one served. That is a sign of pride. And that's what the devil is. He's always seeking worship, that's one of the great things. He wanted to be worshipped, and that is one of the things that caused him to fall. That is why he's the proudest that there is. The sixth one, when you begin to think you can disrespect your parents. Romans chapter 1, verse 30. This one I had to bring it out because Bible specifically urge all of us to respect our parents. If you have brought up a child before, you understand. A child that could not even say a word, that you train, you groom, you feed. And when that child is growing up after you've invested millions of hours and millions of emotions and millions of dollars into that child grows up and then knows better than you, and believes she knows better than you, and proceeds to disrespect you, to dishonor you. That's why the Bible is clear, both in the Old and the New Testament. The Bible is clear on this when it says that honor your father and your mother. Honor them. It didn't say honor your good father and your good mother. It said honor them. Remunerate them. I mean, send them money. Look after them. I mean, make them feel good. Because basically, most parents, the reason they have children in the first place is because they will honor them later in life. They're like the insurance policy. So why are you refusing to make them to mitigate the weaknesses of old age that they have now? Honor your father and mother. I mean, failure to do this is a great sign of pride. And Bible is clear that when you do that, you will not live long. You will not live long to even have children to also do the same to you. You will live to see that situation. Then we have seventh. When you think you know it all, First Timothy chapter 6, verse 4. You see, there was a man that named Solomon. I mean, Solomon was naturally brilliant. It's one of the reasons I believe his father chose him, even though he had elder siblings, chose him to be the king. He was naturally wise. Then, I mean, in addition to his natural wisdom, he also went and gave an offering, and then God also blessed him with extraordinary wisdom. Wisdom far above all the wisest people of his day. In fact, he's the wisest man to have ever lived. He was not only wise because he knew the right things to say and do, he was also wise because he was a researcher into everything. He was a naturalist, was a botanist, but he was a scientist. So he had every form of knowledge. He had every form of knowledge, both the scientific, both cultural, both religious. I mean, he applied himself to all things. He was a business magnate, he was a king, a ruler, and people consulted him on several things, paying him handsomely for that too. And he became extremely wealthy by reason of his extraordinary abilities and knowledge. But even he didn't think he knew it all. He said much learning was a vexation of the mind. Even he did not rate knowledge above every other thing. He said, after all of these things, seek God and keep his commandment. So even he put God ahead of knowledge. Anyone who thinks that knowledge itself replaces God, those who are going around claiming God does not exist and claiming we evolved out of some soup, it's a great sign of pride. It's a great sign of pride. So think you know it all. First Timothy chapter 6 verse 4 is a great sign of pride. And the eighth one is that when you begin to overstate your achievements, this one, the people who are very, very guilty of these things are many of these preachers. I mean, they overstate achievements, exaggerate, things that have been done through them, exaggerate, I mean, people they speak to. I mean, they do all kinds of exaggerations. And some even purport to say these ones are just what you are hoping for. If you're hoping for it, fine, don't say you have it. It's not by faith. Faith is not fake. Faith is not saying things that you don't have and be emphatic that you have it. Faith is saying, I don't have it now, but the Lord is giving it to me. That's what faith is saying. The Lord is giving me this thing. It has not manifested in the flesh, but He is giving it to me. That's faith. So don't say faith is saying things which are not true, and saying they are true, and then call it faith. No, faith is not lying. Faith is having evidence of things that are yet to manifest in the flesh. So that's another sign of pride. When you begin to overstate your achievement, and this one you have it in James chapter 4, verse 6. Number nine, the ninth sign of pride is that you're becoming proud is when you begin to lie confidently. There are people who lie confidently, especially lawyers and prosecutors and you know politicians, leaders. They lie without blinking. They lie. They know what they are saying is a lie, and yet they'll be saying it not only to two or three people. They'll be saying to an entire nation. Read my lips. I don't know this woman. And yet he knew the woman. You see, that kind of lying is not done by somebody in trouble. No, that kind of lying, that deceit of being in that deception to have your way, to have your way. It's not done because you're desperate. It's done because you're proud. That's what the Bible is saying. It's only the pride that engages in that enterprise of deception, lying confidently. And these people, confident tricksters, Yahoo people, they're all involved in lying confidently. And all of those enterprise and all of that is as a result of pride. They think they know better. They think they are better than others, so they can deep them, they can deceive them. And that was in Psalm 119, verse 69. They lie confidently. Last sign that you are becoming proud, and I hope none of this is manifesting in our lives, even as you listen to this, is when you start abusing the weak. Oh my goodness. This one's all over the place. You go and queue and vote for somebody to come to power, and what the person decides to use the power to do is to use it to abuse you who voted for him. The very person who trusted him and voted for him, that is the best person the power is to use again. So Job said, even though I was a rich man, I never used my power to abuse the weak, because Job was a righteous man. And righteous people are never proud. Pride and righteousness are mutually exclusive. They don't go together. They're opposite. So anyone that starts abusing the weak, abusing that houseboy, abusing that gateman, abusing that driver, abusing all those workers, if you're in the habit of abusing the weak in your life, you are proud. Doesn't matter how from how low you came, doesn't matter how humble your background was, it doesn't matter how you suffered, you have become proud. Because if you really, really, really are just like them, you will treat them well. Because when you were like them, you wanted to be treated well. Stop abusing people because they love you. Stop abusing people because they serve you. Stop abusing people because they are less privileged than you are. Those are all signs of pride. And that one you can also find it in Psalm 119, verse 85. In fact, Psalm 119 has a lot of stuff on pride. And please go and study. So these are the 10 signs that you're becoming proud. And I pray that you and I will always keep away from these ones. But remember, the best way the best way to keep yourself from pride is to accept Jesus as your Lord and personal Savior. And He will bring into you the humility that only Christ can exhibit. That humility that made Him die on the cross. That made Him become a man so He could die on the cross. That humility that made Him put aside His godness, his godly nature, and then take upon Himself the form of a man. He'll give you that, and it will cancel every tendency to be proud. God bless you even as you choose humility over pride. God bless you so much. God bless you for watching.